Why, hello everyone, Spencer here, also known as Screen Speak, and in today's video, this is my Alien Earth full spoiler review of all 8 episodes, so without further ado, let's discuss. Alrighty everyone, so, I am happy to report that the final episode of Alien Earth came out last night, and I'm here making a review. Now this video is out a couple days later from when I'm recording it. It's out on a Friday, the end of the week. I like to give some room. I don't care when I upload videos anymore. I used to do it like a week after the stuff has come out, but I'm like, screw it, let me just put out the video. But a couple days ago, or yesterday, I've been on a little bit of a break, so to speak, because I've been watching a lot of stuff, and I was doing schoolwork, and then I want to make a video. I binged last weekend Haunted Hotel, not to be confused with like Has-Been Hotel or Haunted Mansion. Like it's combining. It feels like you're combining franchises. But anyway, I've been binging that, and then I did some schoolwork, and then I watched Marvel Zombies today, Gen V episode 4 today, lots of stuff, and then I finished, like I said, Alien Earth last night. So what did I think about the show? So yeah, I have Alien. I'm recording this before my Marvel Zombies review, but I put out my Marvel Zombies thing on Wednesday. So crazy stuff. But what did I think of Alien Earth? I will have a rating at the end of the video. I'm trying not to give you my rating right now, but it was so good. The show was so good, and I'm happy to report that after the finale, they did announce confirmation that season 2 is happening, and I thoroughly enjoyed the show. I watched like the first 5 or 6 episodes with my dad, and then the last 2 with my dad. When my dad got all caught up, he's like, "Can I finish it with you?" I'm like, "Absolutely." I love watching stuff with my dad. So I checked it out with him, finished it with him. But starting the show, I was envious. I was like on the fence. I was like, oh boy. I didn't even bother checking out a trailer. I saw ads, but I didn't get the full concept. Yes, it makes sense that Alien is coming to Earth, and if you know anything about the Alien franchise, there's a, they are in these pods, they're in these cryopods, and they wake up, and there's the crew on the ship. There's another crew that in the 5th episode is a flashback episode, and it shows like how they crash land and get how the xenomorph gets on the ship, and then there's this bidding company, and they have to make a deal with them. So by the end of the episode, by the end of the season, in the finale, the like company comes in to try to get all the aliens, the monsters, the creatures, and there's this weird eyeball creature, and there's this like fly thing. By the way, it's crazy and not gory, but the creatures and the xenomorph action is nuts. Like episode 5, like I said, is a flashback. One of the greatest episodes. There's great action moments and just tense scenes throughout. Timothy Olyphant and Boy Cavalier is one of the worst characters. I hope he bites the dust at some point. I was really hoping he bit the dust at certain points in this season, and I hope he bites the dust in next season. Kirsch's character, Timothy Olyphant's Kirsch character, I hope he stays alive. The cyborg, who is on episode 5, while in the crash land, I think he is a threat that should be taken out as well at some point. But Kirsch's character, who is played by Timothy Olyphant, who was in the Book of Boba Fett, who I really liked. I thought he was a cool character who wore Boba Fett's Mandalorian armor. He looks completely different in this show. I think he's a great actor. I've seen him in something else, or maybe it was just like an interview of his. But he looked completely different in this show. He had like white hair similar to Book of Boba Fett, but it was more, in Book of Boba Fett, it looked more blondish and spiky, and he has a goatee. Had a goatee in that show. In this show, he doesn't have a goatee, and he's clean shaven, and his hair is like more white, not less blonde, just pure white, and he looks older. So you know, 3 years since Book of Boba Fett, so I was like, oh wow, who's that guy? And he looks a lot like the Stephen Lang from Avatar, so the bad guy from Avatar, the Blue People movie, and I was like, oh man, he looks like him. I mean, without the beard. But then I'm like, oh, it's He looks less like he did in Book of Boba Fett, more like the other guy. So I was like, oh, who? It's Timothy Olyphant? Oh, jeez. It's cool. And I like I liked everything about the series. I was just skeptical because I was like, who cares about an alien TV show? So I just wanted a movie. I liked Alien Romulus a lot, and then going into this, I was like, because there's been two previous Predator movies, and we're getting an upcoming Predator movie, and I haven't seen it yet, but there's speculation that we're going to get an Alien versus Predator, a new one after the next Predator movie, which I can totally see. And one of my friends was like, the new Predator movie is not going to do well. It's like, yeah, they're setting it up for a new one, for a new team up. And I think that, but I don't know where on the timeline Alien's going to jump into this Predator franchise timeline. And it doesn't matter. This Alien show is years before the first Alien movie. And they're going to have another season of this, but it's to me not saying the show's bad. I'm just like, well, but before, kind of like going in, I was like, well, then why would you do the series if you're going to set up a Predator and Alien team up after the next Predator? I'm not quite sure. However, the show's really good, and I think it's the best show. No, sorry, not second best show this year. The Studio is still my favorite show this year. If you haven't seen The Studio, please check it out. It's like, oh god, I don't know what my favorite show now is on Apple TV Plus, but that's a different story. This back to Alien Earth. The synth storyline and the alien storyline, because it's like you take basically the crew on the ship has like a whole bunch of Peter Pan names, and Boy Cavalier, who is the worst character on the show, he's like the most dickhead character, is the Peter Pan-esque character. And then Kirsch is just the scientist of the crew. And there's like Wendy, Curly, Nibs, Smee, Slightly, who are all the Lost Boys. Wendy and the Lost Boys. And then there's Peter Pan. Boy who never grew up. And she's like, in the finale reveals that he's like, you are the man. And there's this guy walking around with Boy Cavalier who's not who honestly, I think he bit the dust too in this season. I think he got his butt whooped. But he pretty much. Oh, did I mention that Morrow, the guy in the episode 5 flashback who crash lands on the ship, is a cyborg? Pretty cool stuff. He can do some pretty neat stuff. So there's cyborgs, there's synths, and Boy Cavalier can put these kids into older adult bodies that are robots, synths, so to speak. They're not cyborgs, but they're synths. They have technology inside them. Kind of like... no, not like that. I was going to make an analogy. Kind of like Iron Man puts nanobots. Kind of like that. So, I was saying something. Oh, the guy that walks around with Boy Cavalier was his dad. But it was his dad and a younger body. I don't know. Now I'm breaking my head. But somehow it was like his dad, and I think it was a kid. I think it was Boy Cavalier's dad and a different body. So he put his dad's head in a younger body, and then it aged up. But it's like, then Wendy wasn't having it. She can control like technology and stuff like that, like the doors, like the prison cells that you're in, and she put all the annoying people, the adults, in the But I was like, the one woman was very nice to them, and then the brother, well, I think the brother escaped. Wendy's brother, Marcy, the real human name, escaped the pod. He was in another pod. But regardless, then she's like, we're gonna rule. So that's how the season ends, and there's a lot there. The one guy, Arthur, who bit the dust by getting a face hugger on him. And then, obviously, the creature comes out of his stomach. It's brutal. We've seen it before, but it happens here. And the characters that witness it are traumatized. So, I'm just interested to see where this series goes in Season 2. I loved it a lot. I was proven wrong that I thought it was going to be crap, and then it turned out to be good. I don't usually think that with a lot of things. But there's a lot of shows. This wasn't a Netflix show, so it wasn't like there was a lot of hatred towards the streaming service. It was a Disney Plus Hulu product. It was a Hulu FX show that I watched on Disney Plus because it's all merging now. Hulu is irrelevant at this point. That's a whole another video too. But it wasn't like I had hatred towards like, oh god, this is a Netflix show, who cares? You know, I think that for a lot of things, but specifically Netflix. But this show had, you know, it's the Alien franchise. I didn't doubt that they weren't going to succeed in some way, shape, or form, but they succeeded in a lot. They succeeded in the production design, in the effects, and the casting. The only guy I really knew was Timothy Olyphant, but everybody else that played, like the Wendy character, she was badass, and there were just other characters. But by the way, the right-hand man of Boy Cavalier, who told talking to the guy who got the alien sprout out of him with the face hugger, which came up later, he said he was fired. And I was like, one of the ridiculous scenes, like, it wasn't even, correct me if I'm wrong, if it was Boy Cavalier's decision. I think it was just the guy was there, was like, well, you're fired. If you're not going to take my orders, you're out of here. And I'm like, well, he didn't even have a second chance. I was like, what the hell's happening in that scene? But they're just, it's moments like that are tense. Like, I know that the character that tells the other guy he's fired is a dick, is a jerk, and I'm like, all right, cool, peace out. So I guess that happened, and then I got a face hugger on him. Arthur got a face hugger on him. So whatever. So what's my rating on this show? How do I actually feel? I mean, as I've said, I'm excited for season 2. I think that they'll nail it. Like the only thing I've heard some criticism in the finale, it felt too rushed, and it felt like there were things that they didn't get, like logic choices that could have been better handled. But I think if they explain it in season 2, do consistent writing. I think the writing was consistent. I didn't have any issues with like bad episodes, or even like Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2, which I'll go to rather than season 3. You know, people are like, oh, this is such a filler episode. I didn't have, like, Mandalorian felt like consistently toned. The same with this show. It felt consistent toned. It didn't feel like, well, this episode feels different, or this episode. Kind of like Book of Boba Fett, how it missed the tone throughout. I guess there were different directors on those shows, but this show, it felt consistent with the creator. I think the creator knew what he wanted to do. So, this show is just an 8 out of 10 for me. You know what I like to do? Because I don't use Rotten Tomatoes. I don't use Letterboxd for my TV shows. I just like to give one. I'm just gonna give one score and not a Letterboxd. I'm just gonna give like out of 10, and then my justification, my letter score. So what I'm gonna do is give it an 8 out of 10, and give it an an A minus, just for the little nitpicks I have in the finale. But other than that, it was really consistent. So an A minus is a really good score. For how I felt going into this, very like, who cares? And none of you knew that, but I just felt that way. But no steam, there's still gas that they're going on the Alien franchise with the show, with the I don't really know where they're what movie specifically, but with the team up in the plant in the works after Predator. Predator's still going strong, Alien's still going strong. You know, Alien Romulus was great, now Alien Earth, and I don't know. They said they've announced a season 2. I'm gonna guess roughly by 2027 is when we'll get the next one. Hopefully, if they got work going on it. So I'm going to leave a thanks so much for watching this review on the Alien Earth season 1 review. Don't forget to leave a like. Season review. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow me. Don't forget to keep calm, watch screen. Peace out, everyone. Bye.